Action.
Welcome back to another episode of the Butcher's Bible Podcast. I'm your host, Ant, and with me always is Luke.
Oh, sorry, I jumped in too soon.
That's all right, Ross. That's all right. How are you, man?
Yeah, good. Not too bad. Thank you very much. God, this energy is unheard of currently.
Yeah,
Love
right. Yeah, you gotta come in hot, Russ, you know?
I know.
Fucking gotta keep the fucking morale high. You know, everyone's getting fired up, and you know, we're coming to them live on a Monday. It's been recorded, ready for a Monday, just to get them through those Monday blues. You know?
True. Tell you what gets me fired up.
Ooh, talk to me.
Is our latest sponsor, Waz's Sauce Hut.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we said in the previous episode, with code BB15, you can get up to 15% off all products currently available.
That's a fucking sick deal,
isn't it?
Yeah.
We're on the, as I said before, we're on the move. Let's go.
We're on the rise. If you haven't tried the sauces, or you're interested, or you just put in your basket and just waiting, guys, 15% off is a fucking sick deal. Get on it now, because he does an incredible product, especially the Kraken Fury. Fantastic. Nice blend between a rum and a hot sauce. It just works. And like I've said before, the fucking Island Breeze is my favorite. It's that mango blend. It goes perfect with pork and chicken. This is not enough. You just can't get it. You know,
you can't get enough. You know, we're just two blokes preaching the good word of the meat industry.
One episode at a time, baby. Let's crack on. Nice. So, Lukey.
Yes.
How's your week, Bruss?
Good. I can't really, be too excited about it. Same old currently, just plugging away. I've got plenty of beef to cut, plenty of beef hanging. Can't really complain.
No, it's good, man. It's really good.
Going well. I've got a couple of Wagyus and then a couple of Angus to cut, which is nice.
You got Wagyu in the fridge?
Yeah, it's like a Wagyu.
Yeah, Wagyu.
Wagyu.
Yeah, loosened it already.
A Wagyu cross Angus, which is good. You got the size, then you got the fat, so it's nice just to have, just to cut. And as a butcher, I'm using a proper sort of having a chunky fat. It's like the video that I sent you, where it's like the eye was almost as big as my hand splayed out.
Amazing, yeah.
And good, just good fun. But there's just a lot of things to pack after the fun's done cutting it. You just got to pack it all, which is the time consuming bit, and scrape all the fat off the block, and you're a bit like, oh.
See, I've been very envious of the people who cut Wagyu. Like, run it through with me for just a second, because like I love the whole idea, the premise behind Wagyu and everything as well.
Yeah.
But when you cut it, do you get a bit anxious when you're cutting it? Because you're like, oh, this is actually worth a bit more to the pound. And it's...
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I mean, I'm very confident in my ability, but also it's not necessarily I think what you're thinking of is like the proper A5. Is it A5? A5 Wagyu.
Yeah, there's multiple stages of it.
Yeah.
Like just the Wagyu you have now.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, and the listeners, like, tell me, like, is there like those nerves? Do you have like, because it's got that Wagyu label, but it's got the cross. It doesn't matter if it's got a cross or not. Do you just feel a bit like, oh shit, like
It is. There's sort of like a there's less chance to fuck up. You know what I mean? And like if the customer wants 500 gram steaks, nice chunky steaks or something, or they want 1/4 inch at, I don't know, 8 ounce steaks. And you got to get it bang on, because they don't want you to be cutting a big steak and then cutting little slivers off down, to make weight. Yeah. And so there's a bit of pressure in that regard, but I kind of quite like that.
Yeah, nice. You like a bit of that under pressure kind of feel.
Yeah. Kind of. It can be same thing day in day out, but a little bit of pressure.
So it doesn't matter to you regardless if it's Wagyu, Angus, Red Devon or whatever. It just doesn't matter. You just go by the cut sheet.
Yeah, pretty much. We tell our clients to get the cutting list in with plenty of time, so we can cross-reference with them, because sometimes they double up. You know, they want 4 ribs and then they want ribeyes, and you got to educate them in that.
You're going to get like 5 pin out of the ribeye.
Yeah. Although we want flat irons and feather steaks, please. Well, it doesn't work like that. But, you know, I enjoy the pressure of, you know, we get a lot of prescribed weight when we're cutting, and you've got to get it bang on. You got to get it bang on, you know, and so you get the highest yield, and there's less mince to pack subsequently if you get it bang on. So there's less trim.
What about the bones and everything? They take the bones?
Yeah, most people take bones. They take the marrow bones, and then we'll charge a small disposal fee for unwanted stuff as you would put in your bone bin for the knacker man.
Right. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah, it's good. And Jude, how's your week been? Good.
Yeah, it's just trying to keep up with it. You know, being in the February time, you know, the catering's picking up more on my end, so there is like a very similar kind of aspect as yours, just without the Wagyu and whatever else. It's just like, you know, some of the restaurants, they want like 40 sirloin steaks, and, you know, they want them all cut to that size, and you can't really like, you know, like mess it up and everything, because they buy whole carcasses off me, and I kind of store it like in my fridge because I got the room and everything, but I charge them a small fee and whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, we get in like 300 plus size pieces of beef, and then we cut like the sirloins out of that. But then if I do muck up, I'm very honest with them. You know, I'm just like, look, dude, I got like 34 and you wanted 40 sirloins. Like, you know, they're like, yeah, no, that's fine, mate. Like, you know, all of them are really like, yeah, that's fine. You know, we're not really, it's just to cover our quota and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you can give us the 100 kilos of mince and still keep the chucks and the bowlers and everything, that'd be grand. You're like, no, it's not really, you can't get 100 kilos of beef mince if you keep the chucks and the bowlers and, you know, your feather blades and everything as well.
Yeah. The way I say is to customers is that you do get quite a bit of trim, even if you're utilizing all the cuts. There is still quite a bit of trim that comes off of it.
Yeah, there is, but it's like you do the ratio, and it's like 60% fat, if not more, and then a little bit of beef mince that you get in between the rib bones and whatever else off the bone and whatnot. But it's like, yeah, it's been like that, but it's like trying to do it. But like, you know, trade through the shop has not been too bad. You know, I had to fire my apprentice. He just didn't have it. He didn't have it. He didn't have the talk. He also didn't seem very interested. But, you know, he's 24, man. Like,
didn't have that fire.
So he started off like guns blazing. I fucking want it. Like, let's go. You know, I've read your ethos. I'm really interested.
Yeah.
And he come out guns blazing, and then the first week I was just like, do you want to know about this or whatever else? And he's kind of just like lingering off to the back, like, okay. And then it just went from like all that enthusiasm to just like straight down. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, you know what?
Do a bit too close to the sun and burn out fast.
Yeah, but then I also gave him the benefit of the doubt because I'm like that kind of bloke. So I was like, oh, do you know what? He's probably, it's a lot. You know, you're seeing like 10 sides of beef. You're seeing like 10 sides of pork, 16 lambs or whatever. You know, it's all laid out. There's like, it's all there. It might be a bit much. So I kind of gave him benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And I said, look, dig in with me, get to know this and that. And just, yeah, he didn't like, it didn't last. And I just said, look, sorry, dude, you know, we're parting ways here. I'll give you a 4 weeks notice, you know, because I'm that kind of bloke. And everyone said, no, give him the 2, give him the 1 or whatever. I was like, look, I'll give him 4. He kind of reevaluate himself and do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I still paid him and whatever else, but, you know, he just wasn't interested. And I was like, well, each to their own. But it is annoying, and a lot of people will understand, you know, that like they come out guns blazing and they ain't got the backbone to show it. Like, I'm sorry. And plus, especially in our industry as well, it's so hands-on, so focus-orientated, it's customer-orientated, it's attention to detail, it's fucking cleaning as well. And I'm huge advocate for keeping things pristine.
Yeah.
There is a slot for everything in my shop, and the same with every other shop as well. You know, that goes from kitchens to people's toolboxes to to everything, you know. And he just didn't understand the whole rhythm. And I was like, well, it's pretty easy laid out. Like it's idiot proof. Like I made it. He just didn't get it. But
no, it's a bit like at home. You know, if there's something there's mess, everything should have a place. And if it doesn't, it should.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know, and then that's where you get mess when nothing has a home. You know, then at work it's very similar to, you know.
Well, this ethos should apply at home. You know, you got where your Hoover lives or your vacuum. You got like where everything lives. Like the same rules apply in a shop. And, and then like if you have like a free working space and you can happily make a mess, bring in the tools to, you know, clean it up and make sure it's like rubber dub. Like, and then you can put all that stuff back and then off you go. Happy days. And the way I design my shop is it's pretty easily laid out. Like inside my cold room, I've got like a drainage floor, like drain catchage floor. Like I've done it all. Like, so it all goes down into the drain. I can clean it head to toe, scrub the whole fucking thing. You know, because like when you're pushing beef and pork, they're going to bang up against the wall and everything as well. And, you know, you get the fat marks and whatever else. But, you know, he didn't seem to understand like the whole cleaning regime that it is literally clean as you go, or it is literally we're so busy, bust it out now, save it for later. But we'll leave the last 2 hours to cleaning, and then the last 40 minutes or half an hour, whatever, we can talk or we can kind of muck around. We can kind of do those things.
Yeah.
He just didn't seem to catch on, you know. No. But it is honestly one of those things, and no bad blood, I guess.
No. So you shit in his boots?
No, not like any. He wasn't stupid or anything. He just wasn't interested, and you can't shit in someone's boots.
if they're not interested. Yeah.
Like they're going home. These assholes shit my boots.
Yeah.
Their mum's going to be like, what? What?
Yeah.
No.
But he paid me, but, you know, he shit in my boots.
You shit in my boots. Yeah, because my socks are drenched. Mum, you're going to have to clean these.
Yeah. Like, talk about you getting your whole carcasses in, and I get whole carcasses too. Do you mainly, you said before that you get them in from one place, you know, one farm?
Yeah. So I use like a small farm about 13, 15 miles away from my shop. It's called Hamilton Hall Farms, and it's a fourth generation. So there's about like 19 or 21 of them who have been working on the farm, and it's like a massive area. So it's a massive pasture raised kind of like it's a massive strip. It's really awkward because it goes on like this U bend on the road, and the road follows around where the actual farm is, and it follows all the way down, and the rest is like all this forest land that kind of cuts it off. And so they rotate everything as well. So you got like your pork, lamb, and beef, and they just rotate all of it, and it's all pasture raised. It's been in the that kind of way. And you know, they only do head to tail. But the produce that they put out is probably hands down some of the best I've tried. Like the lamb is it's insane. Like a lot of people do say like, oh, New Zealand lamb is top form, or, you know, Australian lamb's really good. And I was like, but to dig deeper into that whole aspect, Dorset Pole Texels, or Dorset Poles anyway, in the early 1900s, they were taken because they're the only lambs that you can rear all year round that can withstand the harsh climates. They took those back in the 1900s to Australia to breed them, and then they kind of passed on to New Zealand. So there's a bit of insight for you and everything. So whenever people go, New Zealand or Australian lamb's the best, you just say, actually, it started here in Dorset in the UK. So I don't give a fuck what you say. The OGs are here, and, you know, they only deal with the rare breeds, you know, and I really do enjoy those. But the beef we've been getting through is a Dorset Longhorn.
Nice.
And like the eyes are really small. So like the rib eyes are like, you know, quite small, but the flavor is, it's earthy, soft. It is like, you can really tell it's been cared for, and there's been like a method that they've been using where it's just like, it's just packed full of this unique texture and flavor that you just won't ever find in a supermarket or really anywhere else. that I found in Dorset besides like really my shop. And a lot of people come back and they'll be like, even though you said like that ribeye was really small and I told you to cut it like 3 inches or 4 inches, they're like, that lasted me 2 meals. I took the rest to work. I was like, yeah, I told you, and a lot of people were like, yeah, I need more. What's the sirloin like? And I'm like, oh yeah, sirloin, yeah, we can cut it. And the sirloins are like, like as thick as like a Papa John's crust.
Right.
But then people were like, oh yeah, give me like 4 fingers width. And you're like, nah, bruss, you're not going to fucking eat that. Like, trust me, do about half of that, go for it. But then big man always comes back after a week or so and goes, that lasts me 2 meals.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, same again.
I'm very, very proud as well. Like, not too many shops do what I do with the head to tail, like, or the nose to tail ordeal, nothing but, Dorset homemade, like, produce as well. So, like, a lot of shops...
Yeah, that's good.
A lot of shops do claim that they do, but then, you see, not to discredit them or anything, but you see those big trucks at the front, they're not just getting chicken, are they, or pork?
No. Do you, so you buy an old carcasses, do you ever have to supplement your supply with like buying in beef?
No, I don't have a wholesale. I don't have a wholesale. And like I've said to hundreds of customers, they're like, why haven't you got ribeye? Every time I walk in here, you've never got beef. It's like, yeah, you only bring in the whole beast and you only get, if my math's, pretty correct, you only get 2 fillets, you only get 2 ribs, you get 2 sirloins. You get 1 heart to the beef, you get 1 liver to the beef,
Yeah.
And a lot of
very, very true.
Then a lot of people are like, oh, okay. And then they'll come in on the Wednesday and I'll be breaking the forequarter down on the block and they'll be like, oh, have you got chuck? And I'll be like, yeah, all right. And I'll rip the whole blade out and I'll show you this is where the chuck is. And then people they're just gobsmacked. They're just like, oh, so where's that from? And I was just like, well, that's, the neck, and then goes down into here and blah, blah, blah.
Education, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the education. So
get your orders in early.
No, that is it. That is it as well. And, like so many people will call or email or message or leave voicemails on the phone and say, oh, hi, Aunt, can I please have, 2 of those ribeyes or, 6 fillets or whatever, or do this and that for me. Can I please have, because I got this and that, or they just kind of get their weekly orders in. It kind of rotates in that way,
nice.
But the hardest one is to try and educate and push people is pork. That's always
we said that before, didn't we, as well? It's like sausages you can sell, bacon you can sell, but it's just it's hard to sell it unless you got a real good USP. So you're getting some kind of like mangalitzas in or something, or
it's not even that as well. It's just like because people aren't really educated in the whole pork ordeal. Like pork is extremely healthy for you. You got all those vitamins and minerals, and it is a good clean meat as well. Like it wasn't what it was 20, 25 years ago where they were feeding pork to pork. We can agree on that. And that's why they were giving them pesticides, and that's why you had to overcook pork, and pork became chewy and had the whole stigma behind it. But like now trying to educate people in, I think we've touched on it before in a couple of episodes where we were saying MasterChef, and they were doing the pork fillet and it had to be blushing. I direct people in that way when they do like the loin steaks, when they do the fillets and everything as well. Like you want it like cooking for this long, and then people are like, don't you have to cook it for 2 hours? And it's just like, no, 40 minutes is fine because you want it blushing, because it is classed as a red meat. It is. But that's the biggest thing. But then if I don't sell it, like I'll sell pork chops, the pork loins, tomahawks, pork belly, fine. But the legs, the whole shoulders from with the barbecue boys, and it's like the seats. Also, the whole shoulders, the butts, everything will sell. But it's the legs. What do you do with the legs? What do you do with the pork top side? What do you do with the pork knuckle?
Unless you got a good sort of like ham sort of system or market, it is majority. No one. What
are you going to do with pork leg?
I know buys pork leg. Yeah.
You're not going to roast up pork leg. It's always pork shoulder, more fat, more flavour.
Do you get your pork locally?
Same farm.
Same farm.
Right. Yeah.
That's so cool.
When they've done all the the burrowing or whatever it is, like they'll turn the turf over and everything. They'll rotate it with another species.
That's cool.
Yeah, but they do a really good job, and they're like RSPCA certified. It's been running in the family for 4 generations, so it's like 5 generations perhaps.
Yeah.
So,
Did you go to them, or did they come to you?
No. So funny enough, so I worked in a shop just here on the high street, and I made really good friends with the farmer. And his name's Levi, and he's like, "Oh, I do all this and that, rah rah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I've kind of really been friends with him the whole way. And it's like, he'll go, "Oh, what pork do you want, Ann? Or what beef do you want? Or like, how many lambs do you need for this week?" Because I used to run one of the shops, and I'd be like, "Oh, give me 6 lambs, or give me 4 sides of pork and whatever else." And we became really good friends that way. And until I opened up my own shop, and then I was like, it's easy because the one farm, and then the only thing you got to outsource is like your cheese, your eggs, your milk, ham, salamis, and everything, and chicken. That's the only things you got to outsource. But if I can get 3 proteins from the one farm, happy days.
Yeah.
And it's all on one invoice as well, which makes my life so much easier as well.
Yeah.
I don't know about anyone else, but if you go like one farm for each thing, it's a lot of paperwork. And if it's paper, not digital, it becomes harder because you're like, fuck, where's that invoice? Like
that's the bane of my life. Finding invoices, because we just get delivery notes from the abattoirs.
Yeah, right.
And the majority of the time, I'm on it, but you're tucking an invoice into your pocket, and then you
pocket, and then you dig around for 2 hours.
When you get home and you like reach into your pockets and you go, "Oh, fuck, I'll put this here so I don't forget it," and then you just fuck off to work the next day and forget the whole thing. And you're like, "Oh no." And
the harder thing as well is for your house app as well. Like when they give you a paper form, it's like, "Oh, how cold is your van?"
Yeah.
1, 2. You're like, "All right, sweet," and then you got to put that into the paperwork on the house app. Where everything of mine is digital, I just go send me the invoice with the temperatures and everything, and then I can just forward that on into my house app, and then I just click it all, and that's done for the week.
Yeah,
because I only get 1 delivery a week, and it's usually a Wednesday or Thursday. And it's whenever he wants, he'll just go, "Oh yeah, I'll be there Tuesday. All right, if I can see you Thursday, Levi."
Does he use a local abattoir in the area, or?
Yeah, so in my area, there was 6 or 7. 5 of them shut down because of funding, and I think the other one was they did the latest state of the art kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but they went bust before they even opened, so the guy had to sell everything off, and it became a vacant land. So our class says there's 6 or 7, but they just couldn't get the funding nor the slaughtermen to come in. But so he does.
It's a dying breed, slaughterman. No one actually wants to do it.
No.
It's a thankless job, isn't it?
If I had the time and the effort and I had the shop running, I would definitely run my own slaughterhouse.
There's always going to be a need for it. As long as people eat meat, there's always going to be someone who needs to do the initial, part of the chain, which is ultimately just killing and processing the animals. So we can do our jobs.
No, 100%, yeah. But then when they're closing left, right, and center, you kind of like, now they got to travel a bit further or something and do whatever. But like, we were quite blessed that 2 of them stayed open, and he does it through there, and he comes down to me, and then he does like all the rest. Like he goes up to Basingstoke and London, does all those other shops and everything.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm quite blessed in that aspect.
Mm.
But yeah, what about you?
Yes.
I know you have like this really cool like cutting room concept that you do, because you're not front of house. And
no.
I want to delve a bit more into what you do, because you hear the cutting rooms and the processes and everything in like the US and the UK, like Australia and everything, because people do custom cutting and everything, and you do that. But it's a stationary place, and then you've built around the farm, and you have like a cutting room.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know a bit more about that. Like, can you touch more on that?
Yeah. So, like I said in a previous episode, it was myself and this guy who owns a farm. He wanted to set up a cutting room so he can be in control of his end product, pretty much. He wasn't happy with what he was getting back from the abattoirs and other cutting rooms in the area. And, he was just quite fortunate that he knew my parents, and my mum was like, "Oh, my son's a butcher," and it's kind of gone on from there, to be honest. And we needed to keep this unit afloat. We weren't producing enough animals ourselves to make it financially viable, so we kind of started putting ourselves out there for third-party cutting and of farms and smallholders in the area. The majority of who we cut, and then they take it to markets or sell it on site on their farm.
And the area where you in, like, what's the area?
Sort of Tunbridge Wells way down, sort of southeast. Tunbridge Wells, Crawley, Edenbridge. Yeah. A real sort of like junction of where all those counties. Touch. That's where we are.
Is that quite a farm-based kind of area, like, or is it like a built-up estate area? Like, what kind of?
A mixture. It's quite an affluent area, to be honest.
Oh, nice.
It's where it's near East Grinstead, where all like the you got large sort of religions, if you will, where they all converge and all that sort of thing, and there's money going around.
The cults
and the druids and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and
honey, get the Bible.
The Butcher's Bible.
Oh, subscribe and like.
Yeah, and there's a large sort of community there of small family-owned farms, and a lot of the time it's like one beef here and there, but we do have some larger contracts where we're doing 2 bodies of beef a week for certain people, and it's all prescribed weights for what they want and for their client base.
So essentially you do like a nose to tail with a cutting sheet from the farmer, and then they, like you said, it pushes on and they can sell it through their farm or their own farm shop or market of some sort.
Yeah.
Like you said, there was like 1 or 2 farms and you'd be cutting 1 or 2 sides of beef and blah, blah, blah. How did you get the word out and say, we do this in this area? We can do this for you at a reasonable price.
I think it was very much, as I said before, word of mouth. That's what we were talking about in a previous episode, I think.
It's the best free advertising ever.
Yeah, huge. And yeah, it's just, personal relationships, like meeting people, you're in that sort of zone. So you go to the pub and you meet someone who's got, I don't know, 6 Charolais they want to get rid of that are fucking huge, and all he wants from them is burgers, that sort of thing.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So it's very much...
was it a slow process for you? Like to get that traction? Was it a slow process, and then it eventually word of mouth had spread, and then it was like this farmer, this person, this farmer, and
yeah.
A roll on.
That's what's happened. Yeah, it was good. When we first set it up, I was still self-employed, so I was supplementing my quiet days of cutting for working in other places. But then when we got busy enough that I could be taken on full time, that's when it really kicked off, and I could put all my effort into it. It's nice. We've recently just invested in, an extension to the unit where we've now got a designated butchery area, processing and then packing, as well as a 70 hook hanging capacity dry aging fridge, which is pretty wild. It's nice to go in there and be like,
hell yeah. No. Do you think if it gets up and running, do you think you'll do like a charcuterie kind of range eventually? Is that something you're interested in, or is that something?
I think, we do our own bacon currently, for clients as well. When they want bacon, they just want to know what range we can offer. And at the moment, it's an unsmoked, home cured, nitrate free type of deal.
It's the same as I do as well.
Yeah. And with sausages as well, all your nitrate free, and the only nitrite in it is is the salt. And the charcuterie thing, I think there's a lot of people doing it in our area, like organically as well. So I feel like it's a bit of a in our small sort of community area. Yeah, it's quite a saturated market.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, but we're currently reaching out to smaller farm shops that don't have a butchery, because a lot of them have butchers already, like in house, but some of them don't, and we're just trying to capitalize on that and start selling our sausages as Good Trees Farm, through there.
The price is right. Not too many people, when those fields want to play like premium quality for a good price, they want to cheap.
Yeah.
I've learned that as well. I've had like my headbutts with like the co-op down here in the southwest. They wanted my product sausages and everything, but the best I could sell a sausage at, like, each was like 50p, and they're like,
right,
can you like fill it up with like bread, and like can you sell it at like 23p each? And I was like, no, you guys require me to do that. Like,
yeah.
I can't. If I go any lower than 50p, it's kind of like, who am I really working for at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And going back to your nose to tail thing that you were talking about, a lot of my customers really try and get everything from the carcass that they can. Everything is sort of, the cutting lists go from the very front of the fore to the tip of the trotters. They want everything back so they can just capitalize on their hard work. Yeah, and
they're doing the whole farming range, and it's all there in the field. They want to see their money's worth, don't they?
Yeah. I'm quite fortunate to have pretty much my whole career worked whole carcass. I haven't necessarily had to when I've worked for shops, high street shops mainly. That's when I've worked with sort of like box meats, because they can sell 1,000 sirloins and probably only one chuck a week. So they've just got to buy in boxes of sirloin from the local wholesalers. But
how do you compare that box stuff to the stuff that you're doing now? Which one would you eat?
I did the stuff that I'm in control of and that I can age. It's nice. It's just nice to be able to champion people's produce.
You're very blessed in that way as well, because you don't have that front of house, so you don't really have to push a product. You're just like, dude, this Angus is top form and it's been aging for 40 years.
Yeah.
If this doesn't sell, bring it back, Russ, because I'm gonna eat it.
That's literally it. Me and Dan look at the stuff that we're cutting, and we both go, "Whoa!" Like when you first cut, the chuck part off of the fore, off of the main rib, and that first split that you get, you go, "Oh,"
where the short rib runs down, and it's just like,
yeah. And or you go into the fridge and you get that dry aged smell.
Yeah,
but it's just there's no moisture in the air, and it's got that sort of, I don't know, it's a very unique smell, but it's just, you walk in there and go, yeah, we've got that running at like 70% humidity. We did try it at 80, but we just needed it a little bit less,
Too dry.
Yeah, but yeah, it's good. It's brilliant. It's a real game changer for us. And it's just nice to work with good produce that people have, put time and effort into. Yeah.
And the farms that you use as well, like, because you asked as well with me, like, are they pasture raised? What farms are you using?
So we used the ones that I cut for.
Well, the ones you cut for, let's just say.
Yeah. It's a whole mixture. You've got a family, like I think a 2 or 3 generation family run organic farm. You've got quite a new farm of the last maybe 10 years, let's say, and they're the ones doing the Wagyu, and they found a real niche, and they've got a good notoriety about them currently. Yeah, nice. And yeah, it's now I think about it, it's mainly small family farms. And we've got a couple of PFL, the Pasture for Life people coming through as well.
No way.
Yeah, which is nice. And
No way. The only reason I know them is because of Simon Maynard. The butcher Simon Kent. Yeah, fucking shout out to him. I love him so much. I try and call him every Wednesday or Thursday, just and I love him. And he'll pick it up. He's like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I was like, "Just call and say I love you." And he's just, He's and I'll hang up and I'll go back to work. Yeah, but the only reason I know that is because of him.
Because of him, yeah. It's good. Yeah, I went to he works over in McNaid, and I went over there with one of the people that we cut for to McNaid.
Beautiful setup.
For a PFL sort of meeting thing. I got pulled along because I was cutting up this guy's beef, and he was like, "Hey, come on down."
No way, that's cool.
And Simon Butch was there, a couple of other guys.
Simon Taylor, I know, is part of that.
Yeah, Simon Taylor, he was there, and he was like, "Hey, Luke, nice to meet you," because I worked it with him over in Surrey Hills, over in Oxshott for a summer, maybe like a year or 2 years ago.
Oh, amazing, yeah.
That was good fun. He worked with Alfie and Ollie Goss. It was good fun. That was when it was like 38 degrees in their small little shop, and I was like, this is great fun, boys, but it's fucking boiling. Yeah. No, that was quite a funny summer. I was having such car troubles, and I was like, I swear I'm not normally like this. You know, like
I've never party to the party.
Yeah. But it's just every car that I drove up there blew up for some reason. No idea.
The Oxford shot curse or whatever.
Yeah. Sort of was. And where were we? Yeah, and family-run farms and kind of smallholders of people who are just, they've got 50 sheep on their land because they're fortunate enough to have a few acres, and then be tenant farmers elsewhere. And it's just and they're fairly consistent, which keeps me busy, keeps me out of trouble. Yeah,
that's really good. Now, I've always wanted to ask you as well, and I know we touched on it in a few episodes and plus photos that we sent to each other, is like, what's your favorite carcass to the cut?
You give me a good, nice, firm body of beef, and I'll be happy as Larry, mate. And then I think actually after that it will be nice, set lambs, ones that have been in the fridge for a couple of days and they're ready to go.
Like, how long would you age your lamb for? Because this is like,
if I could, I would say a week.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because when I buy a lamb, like I said, like I'll get 6, and I know 3 will sell, but that 3 will be rotated from being a week, and then I'll put 3 that are fresh at the back.
Yeah,
and then people are like, "Oh man, this lamb is like, it's firm, it's juicy, it's got that texture and everything, like stuff you wouldn't ever see."
Yeah,
I'm just like, because I let it age for a week, and people are like, "Oh my god, this lamb is off for a week." It's like, no, like lamb is a red meat, and it should be like, taken care of.
Hey, Anne.
Yes, Luke.
Spring's coming, and our friends over at Was Sauce Hut are having an exclusive offer for all your cooking needs. When you use code BB15, that's BB15, and get 15% off all purchases.
From gift cards to family and single pack sauces, they range from Luke's favourite apple bourbon sauce to Ant's mango, all the way through to their award-winning Kraken Fury rum-infused hot sauce. Woo! Yeah. Start stacking your shelves and get ready for summer, and most importantly, save yourself some money with the code BB15. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah, I think when you get a good firm lamb, let's say, it's been hanging for a week, it's just really nice to cut. The bones cut nicely. It's the meat. Yeah, and the meat's got this nice sort of like, like a matte sort of satin look to it. Same as a good beef carcass does. It's not wet. It's not like floppy. It's just got that nice sort of firm, can hold its own weight sort of feel to it. I think, it's just, you get a good carcass. It's nice to just bash through it, isn't it? I guess. Especially when you have that free-range pasture-raised stuff as well. It's quite nice to work with because it has like a whole different texture as well. And like, I don't know how you would do it, but like when I would break down like a lamb, I would always start with a lamb breast and I would take that off.
To me, in the shop I work at and own, I could probably sell 30, 40 lamb breasts just as they are. I could do a mixture.
Really?
Yeah. I could like bone and roll some, and maybe the majority, cut the tail off, keep the tail for myself, and just sell the breast as is. Because because it is that older generation where they're just like, just leave the bone in and I'll do the rest because it's gotten slow cooked. Yeah. You're just like, all right, love, whatever,
Yeah.
But it's just like a lot of shops I know of would be like, it just goes into mince or it goes into sausages.
Yeah.
Or it does
for us. It does for us. Most people, we've tried to do like the cutting of like riblets. That's pretty much a small sort of belly ribs, if you will, off the lamb. And they go sometimes, but majority of the time it goes into mince. The only time that I can ever sell a lamb breast is through a vinyl print.
Of course, that's awesome. But see, the thing is, I can sell in like lamb breast isn't that cheap. Like in my shop, the bare minimum I can sell it as like $15.99 a kilo. And I know some people are like, oh shit, But I got that pasture raised free range stuff. But on the other hand, like legs of lamb, unless it's Easter, I can't get rid of. But then if you take the rump off, turn it into steaks, I can sell that at $25.99 a kilo. But if I sell it as whole as a mini roast, sell that at like £12 each, people will lose their minds. But the weight it is works out cheaper by almost like a third of the price if you just buy the whole thing and roast it. People don't realize like that whole concept between the two is really strange.
I think it's often the size of things as well.
Oh yeah.
It's often a bit daunting,
Yeah.
But it's a funny one, isn't it? Like the more effort, people don't realize that the price goes up when there's more work gone into it. Yeah, they think that it's cheaper because it's smaller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just like the per kilo price is up.
It's up. Yeah. But it's real funny as well. And then you'll bone out like a leg of lamb. You bone out and butterfly a whole leg of lamb, and then you sell that at like $32.99 a kilo.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, absolutely, I'll take it. And then it's just like £50 for this bone and rolled leg of lamb. But then you sell them a whole leg of lamb with the bone in, and that's $18.99 a kilo. And it's like 30 quid, if not that. And then they're like, it's too much money.
And then can you take the bone out and then I'll buy it?
Yeah.
That sort of thing, isn't it?
But then I'm still going to charge you like £32 a kilo. But no, I want the bone. Also, my labor isn't for free. Like, it's that catch-22 kind of ordeal, isn't it?
And how do you feel about someone who asks for you to, they ask for a whole chicken and then they say, can you cut that out for me?
Sure. How do you want it?
Yeah, but is there an extra price?
Yes, with me. So let's just say you buy a whole chicken, you want it butterflied out, and then you want it cryovac with a flavor. Absolutely. Yeah. So whole chicken's $7.99 a kilo with me. That's free range. Boned to roll, boned whatever. It goes straight up to $13.99, regardless if you want to keep the carcass and whatnot for your fucking cat or dog. Fuck you, Doris. But it does, because like you need to take into consideration, especially when you're front of house, your time and effort is worth its weight in gold. Like you can give all the customer service you want, but you got to take into consideration that your time and effort is worth more as well. If they want to take a whole product and they want you to dissect it, it's going to cost. And that's the nitty gritty. But like some butcher shops I know won't charge that, but you're undercutting yourself. You're underselling yourself as a person.
I've worked in a couple of places that don't charge. And that was the question I was asking. I've worked in somewhere where we did, but then customers found loopholes is where they would they'd ask for a whole chicken they pay for it, and then they don't ask you to cut it out.
Yeah, see, that's where I would go. That's going to be a different price. If not, I would be as I am as the honest person. I'd be like, look, my time and effort is worth a bit of money. How about you buy like a pound of mince or something, or half a pound of mince, or take some braising or something for like £5-6 more.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, people were like, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, yeah. If you can do that for me and do that, I'll give you the £6.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the honest person I am. I'm like, look, like I'm not being funny. There is a lineup of like 3, 4, 5 people. My money, like my time is worth a bit more. And like a lot of shops do undersell themselves.
Yeah, true.
But
well, that's just to get people through the door a lot of the time.
To get people through the door, yeah. And to make customers happy. But if you get that like a dozen times out of the weekend, you've lost yourself about 50, 60 quid. And that 50, 60 quid could go towards half a land.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need to kind of, being a shop owner and summing up and seeing figures and everything, you kind of really need to build around that criteria of every scrap counts.
It does. It's very true.
It really does.
I know. I remember getting absolutely hammered in one of the first places I worked at.
Yeah.
When I escaped the catering butchery world as well, is that the boss man would go through the bone bins and he'd be like, "That's red, that's red, that's red. You know, that's money, mate."
Yeah.
You know, or I come back from lunch and he's got it all on the block, and I'm like, "Oh fuck,
yeah."
Like, and you just get not a hammering, but it's like often it's worse when they just give you a slight talking to,
or you aside and give you that.
Yeah,
come on.
It's that whole sort of like, I'm not angry.
Tail between your legs.
I'm just disappointed. You know, it's one of those.
God, he said the words. Words. Yeah. Only doing 5 episodes and you've already said it.
Yeah. It was just one of those things where you go, oh man, but it's money. Now people are wanting like fattier minces.
Yeah.
That's money as well. We rarely put in much fat unless it's like huge boulders of fat. We put it all into the mince because people want 25% minces now. But
then also the people as well. So when you take out the actual like fat of like a side of beef, people would like the restaurants and everything I supply, they'll say, take that fat out, put it into crates. So they want all the fat into crates. And apparently they render that out. They make different stocks, gravies. There's another shop as well that they're doing like a lavender candle mix as well.
Nice.
So when you do a full dining experience and you pay £139 for 4 people for a steak experience, the candle in the middle is like a garlic infused candle or whatever.
Oh, like a dipping candle.
Yeah, it's like a dipping candle. Yeah, and so the candle is in the middle and it has like 4 kind of bowl kind of like segments or whatever. So there's 4 people sat around, and then they have like this bread and they have the steak and everything. And they dip that into that. That's a really good concept of using like nose to tail as well.
Yeah, yeah.
The amount of effort it is to render out the fat, get a wick, infuse that with garlic or rosemary or whatever, put that into a candle that's like yay big or whatever. Like that's a lot of effort, but it's like effort that they're willing to put in. But then also, how much steak are you getting with like that dish? I think I do like they want flat irons, they want like bavettes and everything. Like it's all the same essentially. But like if you've only got like 2 kilos to 4 people, and then you got like a ton of bread and a wine bottle included in that, and then you buy another wine bottle and everything, they're already had their markup, and fat is fuck all.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of people deep frying, like restaurants deep frying beef dripping now as well.
Yeah,
which is quite cool. Sort of about blah 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 blah. People are just using. They're trying to utilize everything. That's what can be quite difficult sometimes.
It's also cutting out those seed oils and everything as well. And if you use just a pure, honest product, and then putting that in, implementing that into like a cooking, like it does make a lot of a difference. Like you said, like deep frying the chips into those fats and everything. Like You're not wrong. It's just a more honest product.
Yeah. Funny, isn't it? What about you? What's your preferred carcass to break down, you think? Well, I mean, you can't beat a good beef carcass, can you?
No, see, that's the thing. I love breaking beef.
Is that because it's held in such high regard? You know, if you were to say pork, people would be like, why pork? You know?
I've had so many run-ins of pork, and I still do. But the funny thing is, the whole reason why I seeked you out and I've loved you ever since is because of a pork video.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because you had the rosewood Victorinox and he just went smoothly through the bone.
Oh, yeah.
4/4 in the belly and everything as well. And I was just like, that's my man. I'm hooked. Whatever he does from day one, I'm set.
Sick. Thank you, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love you. But it's like, but it is beef. It honestly is beef. Like just looking at like a 4/4, a hind quarter, a center and everything, you just like, you know what you're in for. You know how you're going to turn this big lump into like these beautiful small pieces, and you got, everything where the seams are, where everything's going to just evolve, and it's just going to be laid out onto this bench, and you're just going to be like, woo, that hour is definitely worth it.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, I just love lamb as well. Like lamb, I highly hold up there with beef, and it's just like, I know it's so much smaller, but lamb you can really fuck up. Like if you don't treat it well enough, lamb you can really fuck up. And like I pride myself in breaking a whole carcass of lamb down in like 18 minutes.
Nice.
That's on a bad day. But then when it comes to a side of beef, I'm just like, I'm fired up.
Yeah. I know. There's a part of when you're breaking down a bit of beef, especially in the, people say the fun bits, the hind quarter and the rump and loin, but I thoroughly enjoy doing 4/4.
Yeah, same.
I think when you're getting into the sort of like the truck roll area, you've taken your short ribs off. You've just got your main chuck roll with the plate and the chine and the ribs, the shorter ribs coming off of it. And if you were to go through the seam just slightly above the underblade, and so then you just have the chuck eye and the Denver. Yeah, over that in a nicely dry aged carcass, you can't beat that. Just the noise of the ripping and
see, this is where we're going to divide the room.
It's just
on the rail or on the bench.
I learned on the bench, on the block.
What do you do now?
On the rail,
Woo!
it's just so much more efficient,
It is, and gravity do the work, baby.
Yeah.
I've
got the pleasure of having like a big old 6 foot by 3 foot block, like a big block.
Wow, it's massive, yeah.
That I can just stack beef up on, and it's just so much easier, and just to have it hanging behind you whilst you're working. It's not just having lumps on
lumps on lumps
lumps on block, but you can that's where you you have like a process I have a process that I do.
Yep.
And it's good fun breaking it on the hook. It took me a while to actually get a good sort of like sequence down of moves, because I now do it the same pretty much every time, unless
they run through the beginning of the sequences for us.
Of like a 4/4. What I do is I would
because some people would say take the blade bone out first with the foreshank, and then other people would say run your knife through the ribeye down to the chuck.
Yeah.
There's some people would say between that, and I'm just like,
I've kind of done it all, but what I do mainly is I would take the neck off first.
Yep.
So you've always got that first sort of connection bone from the spine to the head. You've got that first vertebrae.
Yep.
Discount that one. Count 5 back.
Yep.
From up to there, and then take the neck off, and then take the the clod and the shin off.
Yeah.
Going through the blade bone joint. Popping that off, trimming that up, and doing whatever with it. So then you've got the more of like a larger square where it's just a brisket chuck in the and then I would either saw off the brisket and bone that out on the block, or I would bone out the brisket on the carcass. So then I'm just left with exposed bones after you've done taking the brisket off, and then I'd separate the smaller lower chuck portion to the long forerib on top.
Incredible. It's exactly the same way how I would do it.
Yeah, and it's just that's the quickest and efficient way for me personally. Yeah. That's how Dan does it now, and we can drop in and drop out, and we can chop and change what we're doing, but we both know what we're doing. There's no sort of messing around, unless we've got a quiet day, and then we mess around a little bit and try something different. But most of the time, time is of the essence, and you just got to crack on.
No, crazy. That's awesome. I love that. It's exactly the same way I would, especially like being in the atmosphere where I work as well, because the block and the fridge are completely separate because you're not customer facing. So I need to be quick and efficient as much as possible, and I'll just take the neck straight off and then follow it off and then make sure it's into a massive square, bring the rest down, put it with my block, and then just palm off the rest. Yeah.
You take it apart as pieces, and I can give the necks to Dan to bone out whilst I'm doing the fun bits.
Yeah, exactly. He's almost like an apprentice to you, but he's not.
Well, there, yeah, he was, but now it's a shame that it's just us two, because I don't want to do the necks, and there's only one other person there, and it's gonna be him.
Tools. What kind of knives you use? This is like, I know that you and I follow a very similar suit with beef breakers and everything, but can you run me through your toolkit as well? Check on that one.
I've got we've got saws. We've got one that it's kind of like the clip lock ones, and then we rent a couple of or at least a couple of the hook eye saws from a local supplier.
Nice.
Which is good. He's a very good, very, very good guy. He comes by every few months and restocks us up with saw blades, and any damages or broken things he just replaces for free, and we just pay like a small subscription fee to him. Yeah. And it's too many steels, way too many steels. I went through a phase a few years back of clearly having a bit too much money than sense, and I was just buying. So every time I could, I would buy a new steel if I saw one that looks cool.
Yeah.
So you get like a multi-cut steel. You got your polished cut Dickerons, whatever they are, Dick Titans.
Are you a fan of their polish?
If I've got a sharp knife, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
If you got a bit of a dull knife and you're trying to rehone it on the on a polished steel, it'll do fuck all.
Do you whetstone? Or do you have like a automatic kind of?
No, I've got whetstone. I found that the knives that I'm using, I don't like taking too much material off. Yeah. And I find that like if you're using like a quite an aggressive motorized sharpener, you're ripping through the material.
Your tip has just gone from like a thumb width to a pinky nail, where it just runs through really quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I can't necessarily afford to buy a new knife every 6 weeks.
What knives are you running then?
So currently I've got I think it's like the 8-inch Victorinox breaker, which I pretty much use which I use as a steak knife.
That's the same with me.
I rarely use a steak knife. If I do, it's because I want to look cool on Instagram, or
you and me both, baby.
or I've just got loads of steaks or some loads of dicing to do. I've got a scalloped like scimitar.
Yeah, nice.
Rosewood as well that I bought from America because I couldn't find a supplier in the UK. So that's nice. The handles, the blade is a bit wobbly in the handle, so I try not to use it too much because I think I put it in too hot a water when it was covered in fat and it just exploded.
Oh wow, okay, interesting.
Yeah, shame. But and then I've got a Dexter white Sunny Safe 6-inch boner, and then I kind of flip between 3 boners depending on how I feel. I've got the Silverthorn boning knife that everyone bought a few years back. It was kind of the one. And I've actually started using it quite a lot again. Yeah, okay. Which is it's nice to use because it's sort of like a real
easy to get an edge
thin, rigid blade. Good, it is good. Once you've got an edge on it, it holds it so much because it's a full tang carbon steel blade, and I find the handle's a bit small. I've got quite big hands, and the handle tapers off. So, I've got carpal tunnel in my right wrist. And holding onto it too tight, sort of like down on, like in my little finger, it really sort of like builds up pressure in my wrist, which is pretty shit. But and then I recently bought 2 Japanese knives from Carbon Knife Company in America, and it's like the Kinehide something or other. I've got a picture of it on my Instagram, but it's a great sort of like thick, rigid blade with single bevel, and carbon steel, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So, yeah,
like
sharp.
Yeah, this isn't a plug or anything, but the Victory knife range. Dave Colbert got me on. He sent me because I got carpal tunnel in my left hand as well from more boning and everything.
Yeah,
and he sent me the Pro Grip, the one with the ridges on it.
Yeah.
And it takes all the pressure. So when you hold it and you bone out, it takes all that pressure out. And I swear to God, I have not had an issue in over 2 years with that.
Nice.
And
nice.
The Semi Flex that he sent me for free, which, like, shout out to Dave Colbert, absolutely fantastic. But like,
nice.
I called Dave and I was like, man, I'm in so much fucking agony. He goes, stay there. I'm about to send you some knives. And he did like next day delivery or whatever through like the Royal Mail. And he sent me one of those knives, and it just takes all the pressure out.
And is that one that's kind of, it is like ribbed, like, you know?
Yeah. So the whole handle is just like little ridges all the way through. So
that's the VX grip, isn't it? Victorinox VX grip.
No, it's not. It's a Victory knife.
No, yeah.
Silver brand, yeah.
Oh, not a Victory, not Victorinox.
Yeah. But yeah, whatever. But the one with like the ridges on the handle, like it takes all the pressure out, everything as well, and it's like super easy to hold, you know. And it's taken all of that out. And like I can't knock it, you know. And as soon as I had that, I just bought, I think,
all of them.
15 of them. I bought like the Pro Grips, everything, and nice. I use all those for my masterclasses, and that's not a fucking plug at all.
I've never used Victory, actually. I've seen a bunch of people using them, and I've never actually reached out to anyone to get them. I see kind of they're doing like the two-tone ones, which look fucking awesome.
Yeah, but that's like a handle coloring mistake or something, and they're used as like a limited editions or whatever. They're really cool.
Yeah, I think they look brilliant. Yeah, I think it's Butcher Farrell. He's got a black and pink one, which just look rad as fuck.
Yes, yeah, and there's like a green and red one. There's blue and orange one and everything. But that's like those color like mistakes or whatever it is when they do the dipping and that. It's really cool. I know, I'm pretty jealous of
it. But it's not a mistake.
It's not a mistake.
I want them all to look like that. Yeah. What about you? What knives are you running currently? What you
I've got a Rosewood Victory 8-inch like boner, but I use it as a steak knife so I look cool on the Instagram when I cut steaks. Yeah. I've got an 8-inch Pro Grip pink handled breaker, but the only reason why I got pink is because my shop does the breast cancer awareness every year. So the first year I did it, I only raised like 800, 900 pounds, but it went straight to that. And then the last year, I think we did 1,400 as well. Yeah. And I did that on my Instagram as well to raise awareness. But I only chose the pink because I'd rather push something that actually does mean a lot to millions of women, you know, and, you know, women do get your boobs checked. You know, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
One of the other ones as well was the white. I can't even remember the boner that Dave Corber gave me, which is Victory.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also got a Victory 5-inch semi pro grip Victory red knife as well. And I use that just for like the smooth edges. So I use the white one to get in between the bones and like the lamb neck and everything as well, and the beef neck. And then I use the red one to get those smooth finishes.
Nice. Yeah. Do you use Do you use a scabbard?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I got a my kit and my like a dash kit, KIT. And that's that piece of equipment's been, that same scabbard's been with me for like 18, 19 years.
Wow.
Yeah, same. The original scabbard, because the trend was when I was an apprentice was you had a clear version of this or you had the white one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like everyone got the clear one. I was just like, fuck people, I'll just get the white one.
No, I really want a metal one though. They look sick as fuck.
It's gonna fuck up your blade, isn't it?
Do they though?
Metal on metal. You do the mass.
I used steel. Surely it would sharpen my knives when I put it back in there.
Let's not be optimistic.
No, they do look.
I know. I did think of that as well. It's like, oh, that old metal, like feel and everything. But then, are you looking at like build up of like junk? Is there going to be rust? Is it going to like blunt my knives? Like you kind of like, you got to summarize those pieces of equipment up. You know, I started getting like a little bit of rust on my steel as well now, and I'm just like, that pisses me off because it's like right at the ends. Now I can't polish it out, can you? No,
you can get some kind of like a pumice stone type thing that you can get rust off of carbon steel tools. Yeah, they're quite good. My girlfriend's got one for her gardening equipment. And that works quite well. Now I was fucking around going, seeing what was rusty and what I could like rub off, and I was like, this thing's amazing. I can't.
Yourself.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it's just like a rough sort of stone, really. That's spongy, so it doesn't really scratch or damage the metal. It just takes off the surface rust. Yeah, nice. Which is pretty freaking sweet.
Fucking sweet.
Really good. You know. Oh. Go on then. What else? What other topic do we have?
Got plenty. This is the thing.
I know. It's just like try to tie them in together, really, isn't it? What's your thoughts on the whole farm to fork thing currently?
I think when you said like they're pasture raised, I think that's such a great entry and gateway to it, like the whole farm to fork ratio. Do
you think it's a bit of a buzzword type thing, and it's often being used to get people into buying certain produce that isn't necessarily from the farm to fork? You know what I mean?
Okay, so I think when you put it in that way, I don't want it to be.
Uh-huh.
And if it is going to be a buzzword, it was going to be a household name. I want it to have a positive effect and like a stigma around it. And I really want it to flourish and show that positivity, especially the farmers, like outreach and everything that they do, because farming is 24/7, 365. Christmas Day, you wake up, have a beer, milk a cow, farm some herd, do whatever, come back, have lunch, do something else on the farm, fix a fence for 3. And then that's your evening done, open some presents, fucking have a few beers, go back straight to bed. Yeah. I don't want pasture for life to go down that route. I don't want it to be, it originally started off in this really, like it's had a slog.
Yeah.
Got a positivity, got recognition, and then went into a household and then became the opposite of what it was. I don't want that. I really want the farm to fork whole aspect to be people understand, they can trust their butcher, they can understand exactly the whole message, and that they can trust what they're eating and they can respect what is going on, and they can respect walking into a butcher's. You got no ribeye. Oh, you got no sirloin. You got no fillet. Like, I understand that, but it comes under the education, and it comes under the now, now mentality. I need it now. I want it now. I just don't want it to go down that route. And it's such a touchy subject for me because I want those companies to do really fucking well, and I have the utmost respect for them, and I just don't want the farmers to get fucked over.
Yeah, they're going through it, so they don't need any more, do they?
Yeah, no, they don't need any more, and I just want them to do the best that they can. They deserve it. The farmers, like, no farming, you won't no farming, you have no booze, no clothes, no food.
Yeah.
It's that fucking simple.
It really is.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with the farmers, man.
Yeah, don't fuck with the farmers. Like, you have no reason to. Like, don't go, if you're a vegan, don't go to a fucking farm and start selling sheep, because right there is like a town's worth of meat. Like, you're not doing yourself a justice. You're not doing positive thing. You think you might be, but it's just like, it's you got this stigma built around like, oh, meat is murder and everything. It actually isn't. Like, we've been doing it since the caveman age. It's like,
I think being vegan isn't necessarily a solution to the problem.
No, you're adding fuel to the fire in addition to that.
Yeah, you're one less person in the food chain to be eating meat, but it still doesn't. And not that there isn't a problem.
Yeah, see, you can't
you know what I mean?
Without being a cunt.
Yeah, because I'm not saying the solution to the problem, but the problem is that food production supply is shit at the moment, and just taking yourself out of the equation isn't a solution. There's got to be a proactive change, and preaching vegan propaganda to people who are trying to feed people is just wild.
But then also, when you summarize, you got a beautiful ribeye, and then you've got a ribeye substitute, and it has 26 different types of ingredients, and then you got ribeye, it's got 1 plus all the vitamin and minerals.
Yeah.
You need to look at yourself in the mirror and go, would I rather eat a product that suffered for less than 0.001 point of a second than a farm, like a factory?
Yeah.
That's mass produced something with a whole heap of chemicals and everything else, and just to make this product with 26 chemicals and produce to make it taste and look exactly like this.
I know.
And you're adding into the CO2 levels, the waste, the electricity bills and everything as well, that in the plastic as well. Like, most of those things come in plastic.
Yeah.
Like, you need to kind of just go, I haven't made the right decision on it. Like, the human body is not meant to have anything less than organic products, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not sustainable either, a lot of the vegan stuff. Beef and meat production done right is sustainable. And this whole sort of, let's say, take PFL for instance, they're saying that this is sort of like the new way to do things. That is actually the old school way of doing things, if you think about it. It's just we're just getting rid of the large corporation in it,
Yeah.
The equivalent of big agriculture, or big pharma and big agriculture, it's just, you're going back to your roots. You're doing simple farming. You're doing
So also as well, technology is only peaked and gotten up to a point now where we actually do have these findings and these other the foundations. Like, a lot of people say, oh, the dairy industry, but the dairy industry has been so suppressed in forever, and hasn't come until the 21st century that they have all the technology to get rid of all these CO2 gases, all these green gases and everything. And now, when you look at the CO2 and the green gases from all the dairy industry, we're now reversing the effects, and have for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
then you look at the places, like I said, who are making this ribeye or this Beyond Meat, and they got these factories and they're putting those CO2 gases and those green gases and everything else back into it. So they're not, we've reversed it. And now these guys are adding to it and saying that we're the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, you need to know, like I said, the human body is only meant to consume organic products.
It's true.
And that's meat, vegetables, certain types of cheeses. It's not crisps. It's not fucking chocolate.
Yeah. Eggs,
100%. Yeah. Like raw milk as well. Raw milk is a huge thing.
it is.
And mushrooms, like different types of mushrooms.
Yeah, they're brilliant for you. The amount of minerals in mushrooms is insane.
Liamine mushroom as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like steroids for your brain or whatever it is, you know. There's so many more to go with it.
There is. I know I keep getting these sponsored ads online where it's like all these mushroom teas and stuff.
Dirt tea?
Yes, I think it's on like, yeah. I just want to give it a go. Why not? Maybe
Yes,
it'll be
so do I, yeah.
I've turned into a superhero. You never know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, what brain fog? I don't even know what brain fog is, but I'm fucking going to turn into a superhero.
Yeah.
No sponsor that. Reach out. Now we're crossing over to the news segment, guys. Big news actually happening right now over in the EU. Farmers have dragged away barricades set up by riot police to protect the EU institution in Brussels. And there is actually real explosives in the situation of the city. Like, this has just gotten way out of control now.
Yeah, they're no longer just spraying shit all over government buildings. They've actually got real life explosives.
Yeah, they're literally like breaking down barricades and doing like terrorist acts. It's absolutely like incredible. Like,
it's pretty.
How has it gotten to this point? Yeah,
you're always going to get certain people who are like radicalists. A lot of people don't want to be involved in having explosives in a protest. You know,
it doesn't make any sense as well. But like, how are farmers gotten to the point now where they're so backed up against the wall that they're like, we're going straight to Parliament with this? Like, this is insane. And like same with like the Welsh and the like English like farmers and everything. They've been parking in supermarket car parks and everything, and just honking and like causing an absolute riot and everything. And like, is it really seriously taking it from the very basic person? Like, not saying you're basic or anything from the farming world, but like the very person who brings food to your plate. Now to go, I'm fucking sick of this. We deserve more. We are the fucking pinnacle of how this country actually runs.
I think it could be. You know, it's like the floodgates have opened. You know, of what has been repressed feelings and sort of thoughts for years. You know, going back 10 years maybe. You know, it's all coming out now. You've got generations of people who are just having at it. You know, old and young, and they're all just getting involved.
No, it's absolutely mental. And I'm just like, our farmers deserve so much more. Like,
yeah.
And we've said that for years. And like, even in Australia, when like we had droughts and you like every litre that you buy, 2 cents of that goes, or whatever it was, 5 cents goes back to the farmers or whatever. But like, if that 5 cents trickles down the line, it's like all the charity events and everything, like all these people in the homeless events and the charity events and everything, that 5 cents trickles down, and then eventually they end up getting like 1/10 of the 5 cents. It doesn't fucking add up. And then like, I know like now, like this, the farmers deserve so much more. And like, we're big advocates of it. Everyone else who listens understands it all. Like they deserve so much more. Like you said earlier in this episode or whatever, it's 24/7, 365. It's a massive fucking job. Like, why are these people being shit on more than ever? Like, why is it taken to this point? Like you said, the floodgates have opened, and now we got to fucking put our foot down. And I like, my hat's off to them, and I fucking absolutely, they deserve so much more.
They do, and they deserve at least, to be respected and to be listened to, rather than you getting, the UK government currently just going like, we're here for you, we're here to support you. And it's like, fuck off. Like, they're only saying this now because it's kicking off. They're just trying to appease them.
What did our that Prime Minister regime or whatever his name is?
Itchy nutsack.
Yeah. He said, like, oh, obviously because people write his scripts and everything beforehand, but he downplayed that they were like, we're on your side, but we're not really. And he was just, they were like, the Welsh farmers or whoever, the English farmers and the Scottish farmers were like, you're not fucking understanding. And also, it doesn't help that he's a fucking vegan person. And the person who you brought into the health department was a vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he actually a veggie vegan?
Yeah. He's a veggie vegan. I can't remember if he is one or the other, but he's not pro meat. And also,
you need a farmer to grow veggies.
Yeah. But the same bloke actually owns one of the big pharmaceutical companies, and it went fucking down. And he was the one who fucking kept pushing, fucking trying to get the fucking job. And they went bust, and now he's fucking out of pocket, but he's been sitting on money since day one because he's come from family money.
Yeah, he's not hard up, is he?
I'm not getting political or anything. I'm so sorry, guys, but like,
no.
Well, I'd be open.
I don't know enough about it to have like a strong opinion. I'm very much trying to absorb all the information from everywhere and make sense of it all, because I'm still a bit just sort of like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And what's going to be the end of it? How
there's not going to be an end of it. That's the thing. It's just like these poor farmers are going to get their point across. People are going to get arrested. Farms are going to suffer more than ever. There's not going to be potatoes, sweet potatoes, fucking cabbages, everything on their plates all throughout the UK, because people are trying to do the right thing, end up becoming criminals, whatever. And that's how the system is, And in the big, broad system that we have, people who would go against the system are fucking criminals. And I don't agree to it. I think people who are trying to do the right thing and trying to get their point across, they deserve more. And hopefully they get the justice that they need.
I know. Big up the farmers. Keep it up. That's what I say.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, we back you. We're back you, boys.
Yeah.
And girls, don't worry.
And girls.
We got you, yeah.
Lads and ladies.
Yeah, lads and ladies.
Yeah.
Right. Now, WBC news. Over to my home team, the Australian team.
Yeah.
Now, they just dropped this about 16 hours ago or whatever it was. We're in February. But the headline basically reads, practice, 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 Sydney Crew, training day. Craig Munro Butcher, from Craig Munro himself, the big man. He also has his apprentice in. Fucking shout out to him. Big up him. Even though he's a dad kisser, he's a fucking Sydney boy. But who cares? And we got Gareth Gundren. We got Butcher Lawsey, my man, Lawsey. My absolute heart goes out to him. And Darren O'Rourke. Darren O'Rourke is an absolute fucking beast.
Yeah.
Very blessed to have him in our team. But honestly, all things meet. Shannon Walker. I have so much time for Shannon Walker. Shannon Walker is this walking, undisputed champ in the whole meat industry. Like anything that has happened in the Australian New Zealand corner segment, people go to Shannon Walker. Shannon Walker is like the most undisputed person ever. Like, he is hands down the greatest bloke. And we've said it more times than enough. Like, if you've got an issue, you want to know something about anything, Shannon Walker's your man. Like, all things me, he's just the man. And like Dan O'Rourke as well. He's
Yeah, big names, good names
Big names.
coming in there.
Big names, great names. The competition's going to be extra fucking stiff, like your grandfather having Viagra. But yeah, and also JJH 3137 as well, an absolute fucking weapon. Like, I know it's the Sydney team practicing, and then we're going to get on to the Queensland team. It's like, honestly, the Australian butchery team, I could not be more proud of. In all honesty, like, these guys, if like in France, when they don't take the gold, I'll probably cry. If they do take the gold, I'm probably going to cry.
That's a win-win then, surely.
Yeah, win-win. Yeah, the double tears.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, like, these guys have been flat out. They've got a really good team. I don't see really anyone standing a chance, only because I am very, 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 very biased. But
patriotic is the word I think you're looking for.
But, you know, like Germany won the other year before as well. You know, the Wolfpack. Those guys, but incredible. Like, it's not just a job, it's a lifestyle for those guys.
Yeah.
Same with Team France as well. You know,
yeah, it's true.
Those guys actually do have a lifestyle, and it's just fantastic. And I really can't wait until, like, Australia just turns up, gets in kit, and just goes on stage and just fucking goes for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we'll cross over to the Team GB.
Team GB, no big news really, apart from the event happening down in Plumpton on the 6th of March.
Yep.
But the latest information to be released is calling all apprentices. You know, they're looking for some young blood to join the squad, probably to do the single events.
Singles and doubles, are they introducing?
I think so, yeah, for the apprentices and the youth sort of category. I think it is that, because you've got the senior teams and you've got the apprentice.
Is it single doubles and then like the senior teams? I think.
I think it is. Yeah, and calling all apprentices. Get in touch. Craft butchers at craftbutchers.co.uk.
Amazing. Can I ask you something, Luke?
Me, yes, you can.
Because you applied for the Team GB slot.
I have done. I said in the previous podcast that I might give it a go. Yeah. I did. Gave it a whirl. Put in my my application for it, and haven't heard anything back. I've had a thank you very much. It's been passed on to the committee, so I can imagine Simon being like, "Will this guy ever leave me alone?"
Let me just run through with you. What position would you want to play when it comes to WBC?
I think, I would probably be a beef breaker, I guess. That's what I do day in, day out. You know, I love doing value-added products, but then you got Matt Everest and Ben Tyndale, who are like the princes of the value-added products. You know, they're
very controversial.
They recently competed in Ireland. They didn't do too bad, but Scotland won.
Yeah, of course. Scotland have got some fucking big hitters.
They do big, heavyweights, don't they?
It is. Yeah, like, in all honesty, like, I'm not biased, but credit is where credit is due. Like, Carl, Ryan, Ricky, all those guys deserve a huge shout out. Those guys' VAP or value added product game is flawless. It really is. Those three boys really deserve that recognition. You know, Ben Tyndale, of course, he is the prince. He is the prince. He is the face of VAP.
Yeah,
and like same with Simon Taylor and Johnny West as well. You know.
Yeah. Can't forget Westy.
Those boys really deserve it. But I want to ask you, Breaking Beef, I know it doesn't just cover being a breaker, you have to break lamb, beef, and pork.
Yeah.
You as a person have to cover all three aspects. Like, how confident do you think you are? Because if you get in, I'm fucking stoked for you. You're a mega star, superstar to me. And I'm fucking fired up for you. If you get those positions, I am so fucking happy for you. And and even if you didn't get it and someone else did, I'll be happy for them, but just not as happy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, keep it in the family and that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. What was your question? How would I feel if I got in? You mean?
Yeah. How would you personally feel as a person going? I've spent 15 years of my career. Now there's been an opportunity to
the thing is, I think I'd be a bit starstruck with a lot of the people, you know?
You reckon?
Like, all the people that you've listed, meeting them, you kind of just want to go for the whole meet and greet. Even if I don't get into the team, I will be going to Paris, you know?
Wow, yeah. Well, we're going to Paris anyway, regardless.
We are, yeah.
We're going to be doing the fucking BB fucking cover anyway, and we're going to put it on Patreon when we bring it out.
Yeah. And I'd be fucking stoked. Like, really sort of, I'm comfortable in my own ability to, you know, go up with the best of them. And, you know, you're only as good as your team. And I think having a solid team around you, which potentially Team GB could have.
Yeah.
You know, and, I'd just be super psyched with whatever I'm doing. You know, I love doing value-added products, but my real heart lies with carcass breakdown. And if I can see.
No. Honestly, I can't wait. There's when it comes out, it's entry closes on the 6th of March.
It is on the 6th of March, yeah, when this whole sort of thing happens. I don't know what the time frame is after that. I'm sure we'll get more information when we're there. But, the whole team's going to be there and down at Plumpton.
Oh,
and so rub shoulders with a couple of people and be like, hey, what's going on? I was talking to Matt Everest. I've known Matt for a few years, and I'd be like, so what's the deal? What's the deal?
He wouldn't know as much as the next person. That's the thing. Because
he's on the team. He's on the team.
He's on the team, but he wouldn't know. That's the thing.
Which I know. We'll see.
Yeah, no. But honestly, I wish you the best of luck. You deserve it.
Thank you very much.
You're such a great butcher. You're such a great friend. I love you so much.
I love you, man. Appreciate you.
And I love everyone listening.
This has been a good episode. Another good episode, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been great. This is another episode in the bag, baby. We got plenty more to come.
We do indeed.
Fired up.
I know, it's good. Speaking of fired up, Was Hot Sauces.
Oh, yes. Just remember, guys, Was Hot Sauces, massive fucking thanks to them, guys. If you go straight to their website, they got the bundle packs, separate sauces, whatever you want, 15% off. Just remember to use the code BB15. That's BB for bitch 15. Just use those, 15% off. Incredible sauces. Like a hard-working bloke doing an honest product. Fucking get around it.
Support the pod. Go for it.
Nothing to lose. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you to everyone listening. Thank you to you, Luke, as well. I love you.
Mate. Love you, dude. And see you in the next one.
Definitely. Take care. Love you.
Peace. Love you. Peace out.